Jason Joyner. How you doing?
Jason Joyner, what up, cousin? How's it going?
Good.
Good.
You know, I know we talked a while back and a little bit, and I couldn't remember, but, you know, what you had said about your ancestors. But I'm looking at what you just sent me, and that's interesting because I can't pull up my ancestry stuff. That computer I had it on crashed. I still have it backed up, but I just can't look at it. But I remember most of the Joyner stuff. And it's interesting that you found a relative from North Carolina, because I've traced my ancestry back to Lancaster County, South Carolina, back to 1865 when the records were destroyed. And my fifth great-grandfather, and I suspected from all the information that they came from North Carolina, but I just can't prove it. But if your ancestor, if he came from North Carolina too, that would make us so distantly related that we wouldn't have shown up on a DNA test that close. But if I remember right, Ancestry said we were like first or second cousins.
Right. Well, the closest one is Jennifer. She and I share like 140 centimorgans. You and I share about 47, 50 centimorgans. So she's one ancestor closer to me than you.
Right. Well, now Jennifer is my aunt. She was my grandfather's sister.
Well, I'm saying Jennifer Jeffcoat, the daughter.
Right.
Your niece.
Yeah. No, well, okay. Yeah, you're right. Her mother is also Jennifer. Her mother is my aunt.
Okay. Her mother's your aunt. And her name was, she was born Jennifer Joyner.
Yeah.
Okay.
She would be one step closer to being related to you.
Right. So if she tested, I'd be a lot more connected to her.
And that's interesting, see, because the Jennifer that you're talking about, the daughter, and I are first cousins.
Right.
Her mother and my daddy were brother and sister.
Her mother and your daddy. Right.
My grandfather, Boyd Joyner Sr.,
right.
He was a taxi cab driver in Columbia.
Now this is where my connection would come in. It has to do with Boyd or his brothers. It's one of Boyd's brothers would be my grandfather's father. It's either Boyd or the brothers.
Listen to me, because this is where it gets confusing. I'm looking what you wrote about Leslie Shakespeare Joyner.
Yeah, and where does Shakespeare come from? Like, that's weird too.
Well, and see, I've never seen that name in the family, but they're from North Carolina. But here's what's interesting. I had a great uncle, my grandfather's brother, who died of the plague, the Spanish flu in 1918.
Correct.
His name was Franklin B. Joyner.
Benjamin.
Well, I don't know if it was Benjamin.
Well, when I did my history, I've done my research. It's Franklin Benjamin Joyner. And yes, he died around the Spanish flu time, which would make my grandfather, a little boy at the time. So he didn't know his father.
Okay.
Now his mother, they did say my grandfather did say he had some brothers and sisters that he didn't know either. But he did know he had brothers and sisters.
But I'm looking at the timeline, because Franklin, my Uncle Frank, was born in 1892.
Correct. My grandfather was born in 1908.
Yeah, that could have been. He would have been a very young man.
And my grandmother was born in 1888. I'm sorry, 1888. and she was 20 at the time.
So you're okay. I see you now. Your grandfather was Leslie Shakespeare Joyner.
Correct. His mother was Lula Joyner.
Okay. I was thinking he would have been too old to be Franklin's son, but it could fit in there.
It fits.
That could have worked.
And also, now it says his father was born in North Carolina, but his mother, Lula, born in South Carolina. So how she met, I know there's a census from 1910 where Lula was living in Wake, North Carolina, with a little boy, Leslie Shakespeare, at 2 years old. No father in the house. So this would be before the plague. So maybe they weren't a couple. Did they get married? Was she already a Joyner from her mother? Because she was already mulatto. She was mixed.
Okay.
So she may have been a daughter of a Joyner of those brothers.
Yeah.
Of Boyd. One of Boyd's senior's brothers had Lula as a child, and she was mixed, and nobody knew. Something like that.
That's very possible. Now, I only had 2 great uncles, and my other great uncle, very religious man, married young, stayed married till his wife died. So I don't think there's any chance of him having been
Alva. What was his name?
Milton.
Yeah.
Milton Ulysses.
Right, Milton Ulysses. Right.
Right, because my great-grandfather was Ulysses Joyner from Fairfield County.
Right. Now, he had slaves.
But no, that wasn't far enough back.
Right, there was only one. Not too many Joyners had the slaves. There were a lot of families that didn't have them, but there was only one or two of those from that particular bloodline that only had slaves.
Well,
so I'm not sure if this woman I'm not sure if the woman who passed at 91 who I found, was she from that slave line descendant or was she from my descendant? Now, I know she's related to me somehow, but still, how far does that go back? I haven't found her ancestry yet, so it's pretty far back. She might have been from way back, how she became a Joyner. Because I'm trying to figure out, because it's a lot of them were colored, all the way back to the early 1800s. They were still Joyners that were colored, so it goes further back. But not with mine. Yeah. Mine is different because it's a lot closer. 119, 111 with Jennifer is real close. So I would share probably 200 something with her mother. And with my Aunt Carol, which you guys should share a lot more with her because she's my mother's sister.
Yeah. Has she done the DNA?
Yeah, she's on Ancestry as well. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I haven't been on Ancestry in about 3 years. They just, they want too much money, and there just wasn't enough.